Mwene so biniji nyongmai enyo kekpa wono manyawale nyon ye afi akpe enyo nyongmai enyo ke ekpamli na share ni shanene obwana wokeba hanyi share ne kejote Facebook ke YouTube banya kwa ye Mbn 360 minaja modo te shidan wo babote sajam lenye ha wokwa otiye ni ye share ekome
Maye nyelo mahama ke enini ewo bills nyoma shishe kefe amemlai face ni mlawo pe ye to chake moine ashishe ye shikake jara yeli sajam ni World Bank ke fojam ake Ghana bi ba fe uhamninja nyoma edumo ke pa ke se edwe alo 56.4% jimeni kan eminye ohialolo yamliake maash kasajin shikamo ete ehie mone ni ye manse sajamli nwe amane abo efele fan ake menfe ohai abo elaje fese ni nugbowuluko ne ye Nepal ke Tibet border na
Sajene meke kokume ahijino nyabanu yeshanene Adafitswaa Agbele saje di enchemli mbote mone maye nyelo John Dramani Mahama ke enine ewo bill nyongmahi ni mlawo pe ye to hegbeja no shishin bemli ni he na abo amo ke ha mlawo pe he ni jine hu ya no ni no ha mlahegbe ke ba to chaki moy ni chimoto wo allo taxation shika na abo amo low revenue mobilization mahebu allo national defense maritime regulation ke koko ni chumogbe ni eno
bills lo mlai nyongmani atoshishe fata nibi nyongmake enyo ni mlawo pehebi ehe awomli be amli ni nakahina abo amoba na agbe ma wenyo gbiniji nyongmai etenke ekomino mahie nyelo ke enine ni ewo neke mlai na ashishe eha echo mlai kra ne ba agbelegbe eha ni chumo ku ishort ye na amenye ameke boy ni chumo oyake mlano.
First is the Customs Act 2026. This voluminous document, Customs Act 2026. It incorporates all the amendments that have been done over the years into one single document. And so it codifies all the Customs Acts into this document. It makes it simpler to administer, and it will make it more efficient, and it will seal the loopholes that have made government lose a lot of revenue as a result of the scattered nature of the law. So that has just been signed, the Customs Act. Then we have the Community Service Act. This is an act to provide for non-custodial service sentences for misdemeanors and other such minor offenses. So instead of putting people in jail and government going to have to pay for looking after prisoners, a lot of prisoners, for stealing goods or for committing some very minor offenses, they can be sentenced to do community service for the period that they are convicted for. So there's the Community Services Act. Then there's the Tribunals Act. The Constitution makes provision for the establishment of regional tribunals. Parliament has passed it, and so this law gives effect to the Chief Justice to set up regional tribunals to deal with certain categories of offenses. There's the Maritime and Related Offences Act. These are to cover crimes and offenses that are committed at sea. And it gives effect to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which Ghana is a party to. And so this is the local domestic legislation to enforce that particular Maritime Offences Act. Then we have the Act for the National Defense University. As you are aware, we have set up a National Defense University, and this act gives effect to that university, accredits the courses, and makes it a legal and a statutory entity. So there's the National Defense University Act 2026. Then we have the Income Tax Amendment Act. This act exempts people who earn the minimum wage and below from paying income tax. And so anybody who is on the minimum wage.
My hen yellow John Dramani Mahama isa ito chaki mogbejano ye imano yeli shishi keje money ajeman solo se kwelo ke ha defense anunyamo Ernest Broja Jemfi kete nga wulo ke ha National Resilience and Emergency Preparedness ye my hen yellow shitamohi low presidency.
Asa achake manson lo ni kwa nibi short low special initiatives ano Emmanuel Ejikum kete Ministry of Labor, Jobs and Employment Biamlini Dr. Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpo yo Enajang noneji manson lo ya chake moniji enyono ya maye nyelo mahama mano yelini jishi enyono shishi fese ni klen no te no manawale nyon biniji pa weno ye afinemli.
Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejiben HMA Enumoagbe Nihe Yo Ghana Nyonshi Nihe Mosani Alo bribe case Niko Chuchu Goldman Sachs banker Ke Tema Oil Refinery Managing Director Asante Kweku Bekunhe.
May enumo agbe ni ache ekoji Chuchu Power Minister Kwabna Donko ke a technical advisor Kwesi Jaffa OSP Kisi Ejibenti no ifile fang ake ogbe lo mogbe ni ache yesanimlie etrake mone efe noko lo ekwe mla ebule fo amane bone nye beku sanini eyana ye manse ye eheni yoju ke fonsajin nina sho shika $1 million kome nyoshini hemo.
Our involvement with the case and the evidence so far enable us to identify the following as the main persons of interest in this case. 1. Kwabena Donko, who was at all times the Minister of Power. 2. Francis Walkson Kwesi Jata, at all times the technical advisor to the Minister of Power. 3. Solomon Ajete Sowa, at all times a deputy director at the Ministry of Power. Lyndon George Niso Metal, at all times a director at Tricop Group Limited. And Bafo Ankuma Brobe, at all times an employee at Tricop Group Limited. These are our main persons of interest for the time being. Other persons of interest include some present and former employees of Volta River Authority, Ghana Great Company Limited, Electricity Company of Ghana, Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission, and some staff of the entity formerly known as the Ministry of Power.
National President Keha Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAG, Samuel Afote Otu, Echekehani Ayoya Ikekwe Judicial Service Staff Nyongbele Shikayamling Ekong.
Eke for my here Nyelo John Dramani Mahama here ni engo 2026 salary review de jeshishinye se afi afwabe nyo no awumli Kenya Judicial Service Terms and Conditions of Service Regulations 2025 neji CI 141 ni ahe awumli ese ye remomli ye JUSAGS bia Quadrennial Delegates Conference neji enyono dite no ye tamale Samuel Afote Otu shima ye nyelo mahama kong ake ehe neke majani bi ne awumli no ne susu ake na ne fa wulu keje afi baba o se ni anyeko akwe ame conditions of service say.
National, Your Excellency, Honorable Chief Justice, still on the issue of salaries and implementation of CI 141, I would like to respectfully reiterate our appreciation for the progress we have made. In the past, JUSAG often had to grapple with challenges whenever it was time for the payment of salaries to start. With the implementation of CI 141, however, it is our sincere hope that these difficulties will become a thing of the past and that our members will enjoy greater certainty and stability in matters related to their salaries and conditions of service.
Yani Kasemo Sajamli, no Chuchu University of Ghana Vice Chancellor Emeritus Professor Ernest Aite, Echeke Hani University Onupai, allow management kamehe our school fees, low school nyomowe ashishitomi.
Yomomli yeni femo niji Ghana Higher Education Summit na abo amoshishe ulungpeche Aite kesa ni Angma University se agbe na medenche amecho school fees low school nyomowo aboni amebahi kedamo mash kasaji na agbai alo ni bi ni yano ye mamli ni ekwe amralo foya sajin ko he eko lo na chinko kwa eje amralo emi keba.
Largely for political reasons, public universities are limited in determining fees to be paid by their students. This is now being determined by Parliament, and it is wrong. It is important to establish a framework for the determination of fees by consensus, relying on good analysis. Policy reforms that remove all forms of unnecessary restrictions and promote financial flexibility for universities should be encouraged. At the moment, most universities lack that essential financial freedom. It's my view that the leadership of any university should be in a position to assess what is required to lead to transformation. No outsider can do it for the university. The university has to do it.
Yes, Sergeant Kwokome Amlie, First Deputy Majority Whip, Kemla Wokpe Henyo Keha Adan Oshiki Fakucho, Anonyamo Comfort Doyo Kujo, Egbalachuka, Yise Chemokete Mla Wokpe He Shishi, Ni Erie Ake Ehia, Keha Manson Loyi Adanta Kenomima.
Ye Mbn Adafitswaa Ii ariemomli yemla wokpe he enye sho anunyamo kujo wie ake riemo ni mefio aku niji minority eruo ken kochu ka chemona sachame keba mla wokpe he ahi ehia eja ake mla wokpe he kan he minchuni lolo egbalamli ake committee meetings loku short we ayina abo amomi yano lolo kenko manson loyi enyo ni abatala ameda kekojo loyi ahi yemlia kemla wokpe here eti hidromo mune.
We'll work on it, but the main focus is the ministers should be vetted, approved, go back to their ministries, work on their budget with their sector technocrats, and then connect to the finance minister to know what they have for their next year budget, so that the finance minister can capture it and then come and read the budget by November. So that's the main way we are here. If we don't have the sector ministers, how would they get the budget from their ministries and connect it to them and give it to the minister to work on it? So then we are working. No problem at all. I don't know why they are complaining. They are handing over, so we approve the ministers before they can hand over to them. And the Minister of Finance is seriously waiting for them. So why are they complaining? We are not complaining. We are not serious. So thank you.
Kewoncha Shemoy no Mla Wokpe Henyo Keha Wale Oshiki Fakucho, Dr. Abdul Kabiru Tia Mahama Ewie Keshi Amralwe Ake Ebo Modern Yeni Femo Yamli Keba Megbe ni Mla Wokpe He Anyachu Eni Yamli Ake Achame Ise Truka
Ewoshi ake amralo emi ye oyai kenchu manuchumoi yegbi komelogbi enyopemli fese ni ame atarashigbi eteni afe noko kechochu ka chemoni acha ameno wale mla wokpe henyo eke neke maja ni BFN kenje Ghana bi ni eha NDC masjanata omoku eme babao alo majority ye mla wokpe ye erie ake Mempi yaku niji majority enye amebo amehina apona amebagbalamli no yewon ni asa ache ameke bashia eko bi amleni mefi waku niji minority nesa na amemu amebarie no kokeshi amralo nuchumo mo bu amehina ajugba nkebawa wale mlafe lo niji legislator amuiriemo na eke bi ane amralo be onukayeli papa na agbenehun amelehe ne ameya no iwon sake angohi wale kewo Dr. Mahamudu Baumiake NPP Masterata Omokuwedin Eko.
You will realize that Parliament today again was adjourned abruptly without any cogent, any reason that anyone would attest to the fact that the purpose or the reasoning behind the adjournment is anything tenable. You know, to the fork of the standing orders of Parliament. The Speaker is not rudely recall us from our recess when we're engaging with our constituents as part of our civic and parliamentary responsibility to the people of Ghana. We are to come back basically to do three things. One, to consider and possibly approve the Depositors Protection Amendment Bill, which was one of the reasons why the Speaker recalled us back to attend. The second thing was to consider the appointment, the nominees of ministers of state. And the third one was to consider the nominees appointed to the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana. These were the three main businesses, even though we in the minority had other businesses of equal importance, i.e., a motion filed by the minority to investigate the losses that have been occasioned by Gold Board. The Speaker was very clear when we met on the first day, on Monday, that he wanted to limit the business of the House to those matters that necessitated the recall of Parliament. We reluctantly agree with the Speaker that the matters should be limited to the reasons why they recall Parliament. But you've seen, today is the third day of the 5 days that we've been recalled to sit. Effectively, we have wasted about 75% of the time that we're supposed to use and consider the urgent matters, i.e., emergent matters that they say we should consider. Ladies and gentlemen, so far, per the Speaker reading of the letters of communication from the President, we have been told that the ministers and then the the nominees of the Supreme Court to the Supreme Court have been referred to the Appointments Committee. Parliament work in committee we admit, but we've not heard and you've not seen the Appointment Committee meeting because the government has not done its work in a manner that allowed the Appointment Committee work. That's the first thing. The second thing is the consideration of the bill. You all know that before a bill is brought to the House, engagement will have been done. Every relevant stakeholder will have been engaged. Then it will be brought to Parliament. A committee would have to consider it. As we talk, that bill has not been laid before Parliament. It has not been referred to a committee. And are they expecting us to use 2 days, for the bill to be referred to the committee, and the committee will look at it and make proposal to the House for consideration? That is not tenable. We cannot use 2 days for this. And I'm seeing a situation where the government wants us to, rush through a single day of everything. That has been very characteristic of this government, to use a single day to railroad everything that they want to go through in a single day. That is not democracy. That is abusing the absolute majority that the good people of Ghana have given the NDC government. And I think that the president should get serious. The leader of government business should get serious. The minister should get serious. They cannot abrupt our recess. And then we are here. People are taxpayer monies. Taxpayer resources are wasted. Journalists have to come here every day and they cover nothing. No one is paying for the transportation of the journalists. You cannot be causing these losses to people when you are not responsible. Even if you are responsible, that is the taxpayers' money. So these are the issues that we think that the Ghanaian people should know. Even when they are going to address you, you realize that they didn't even have numbers to come and stand down to even explain why they are adjourning the House. The minority who is not even supposed to be prosecuting government business, we are here in our numbers to support the government, to do the government business. Yet still, the government is at large. If there is no direction in this government, if there is no leadership in this government, they should better hand over to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to lead us so that we can get government business ongoing. Thank you very much. If there are questions, may address.
Obada moshia moneno ni wofu weke woku wose woke shika kedra ili sanje baba ani. Kachi oyi.
Let me introduce you to Farm Global Company Limited. At Farm Global, we offer you a variety of groceries and provisions to choose from. Cosmetics, perfumes, bed sheets, undies, boxes, you can mention all. This is our perfume stand, and we have variety of perfumes you can choose from for yourself and your loved ones. We cover Latapa, fragrance notes, and quality perfumes that will last long on your body. On our cosmetic section, we have variety of lotions, creams, hair pomade that can keep you going. Let your feet do the talking and your hand do the showcasing. Your babies are not left out. We got you covered. At Farm Global, we make shopping a beautiful experience for you and your family. You can be at home, send your list and get it delivered for free. Yes, for free. We know you can pay for it, but we want to show appreciation. We bring everything to you at your doorstep. Locate Farm Global on the Nungwabuade Road, just opposite Redeemer Chemist. Call us on 0592 0999 52 or 050 384 3633. Farm Global, fast, reliable, and convenient.
Shidak plejo no akoko yobiye Mbn Adafitswaa no no kabaje shi yeshika ke jarayeli sajam near World Bank ewie ake Ghana bi ba fe ohamlinja nyomai enumoke ekpa kese edre alo 56.4% ji menika hemiye oya yamle ake ma shika shidamo ete hiemo ne bemlini kpokpa ano na agbai gbala ma shika shidamo modembo ke shihin lete.
Recovery from 2022 crisis is real and measurable, but it also raises a harder question. Is it built to last? The choices made now will determine whether the gains of the past 2 years translate into durable transformation or prove fragile in the face of the next shock. The key results speak for themselves, and let me just highlight a few really notable accomplishments. Growth. The economy grew by 6% in 2025, the fastest pace since 2019 before the pandemic, and accelerated further to 6.4% in Q1 2026. Inflation. Headline inflation fell from 23.2% in February 2025 to 3.2% in March 2026. This is the lowest inflation rate since 1999. And currently stands at 4.6, still below the Bank of Ghana's lower band target. The IMF program. Ghana successfully concluded its extended credit facility program, a hard-won marker of restored credibility. Fiscal. A primary surplus of 2.5% of GDP in 2025, which exceeded the 1.5% target, with continued momentum in the first half of 2026. Debt. Public debt declined from 70.3% of GDP in 2024 to 49% at the end of 2025, 3 years ahead of the expected IMF program timeline. And then the external position. International reserves have been rebuilt on the back of a strong trade surplus, driven by record gold export receipts. A welcome buffer, the one that underscores the economy's continued dependence on commodity exports. So the government deserves full credit for the difficult decisions that made these results possible. Yet the report is candid. Ghana is not out of the woods yet. The recovery remains structurally incomplete. The fiscal surplus was achieved largely through expenditure compression, Capital spending was 38% below budget, which is not a sustainable path to growth and development. The report offers a clear message. Sustained fiscal consolidation over the medium term will require strengthening revenue mobilization. Domestic revenue mobilization has been a challenge for Ghana for a very long time. Secondly, 56.4% of Ghanaians remain in poverty. 56.4% of Ghanaians remain in poverty. And spatial disparities are widening. A disconnect between the headline growth that is yet to reach most of the population.
Ghana shikato he wulwe onupa Dr. Johnson Isiama echeniku he ni akamo amekita awo nuchumomni ake Virtual Assets Coordinating Committee ye atogbejano ni sa kekudo Ghana ananungbajano jura yeli gbene alo Virtual Assets Sector ni chaki obeke bife.
At which virtual assets and digital finance are evolving globally. This leaves us little room for a passive approach. Effective coordination, timely information sharing, and a shared commitment to safeguarding the integrity of our financial system. These will be essential if we are to build a virtual asset ecosystem, an ecosystem that is safe, an ecosystem that is well regulated, and an ecosystem that is supportive of innovation and inclusion.
Obafu wa ishikumeku oke wakumose wako hiye bacho manse kuni wako noneti nuhuye jame.
Ha! Hata wadi some look faso. Baba, me again. Yes, we are. Me call you, ma'am. Who hear me? Menti me and sent my friend doctor when I'm crossing over. See what we saw any. She has malaria. Malaria. Oh, what they say? What the router? Me copy the absence here. A drone a friend router mixer. Yeah, come malaria draw. And running router. So. Trap and the draw ku abaso body ase wabo ruta mixture abaso ruta natural products nduane ne ruta mixture ya yedi kutie atridi ruta tonic and the ruta life wa ehuru efin srade bone efin padua mu na support immune system no ruta de obi ase ye FDA ade dwede nkrato ya to
Bajen shi kegbina iwana gbe shemo niji manse sajam ye amani aboy hawali ake mefe ohai ni gbefalo ibafe ohai enyonyo mai ne unke kome lo 291 fatai elaje fese ni nujo wulu lo flash flood ko be boda akuchu ni kanepa ke Tibet team.
Mefe ohai abo elaje fese ni nujo alo flash flood ko babe ke cho Nepal ke Tibet akuche bodae ana oshina sanine egba me baba o ana ke fata here boy bafe ohai enyo ke nyoma ine hu ke ekomeji me ni hu elaje ke cho nujo lo nugbone momli na agba ine ano ene hiwon afa rescue teams lo ta oloi aku na me ata o me ni yo walami be amle ni onupa ehun mi ba me wo mode kena ni bi aboni efite ke me aboni yin epata neke oshina sanene efite gbejegbe kegbe short ni abanya chono ni kwen akeyata wo me ene iwo enye hani ta oloi aku ni ji rescue teams ne anya bote akuche ni oshina sanene ete no ye keyata wo me ni kebashibia ne amelaje lolo. Emergency responders lahumi nchoni kejie me ni ekwe ame akuchi amlie na agba ifi ope jino ni ete no ejeme bona fe ni gbele ke laje moe aka kokete wenchon Beamlini onukpa onkae mimbu ameni egbo yana ake nibi aye ni ekpata fenki. Oshina sanine ehali ake meni yo gojinya yitenye bepi keji nugba wuluko ne fiope afio oshina sajin eha ame. Amani boy fele fang ake rescue operations lota oloi anuchumomi yanololo keta omeni elaje na menchuni hu kena nibi ipoten aboni ye ekpata.
Yo ablade abibe bi ejihe ni beba ngo ogbeni woke hwane na hye moya wa hyeda ne wobaya ne ha wokwa otiye ne jiko ye hye moya mleko mu.
Maye nyelo mahama ke enini ewo bills nyoma shishe kefe amemlai face ni mlawo pe here to chake moine ashishe. Ye shikake jara yuli sanjamliye World Bank kefo jan ake Ghana bi bafe uhamninja nyoma enumoke kpake se edre alo 56.4% jimeni kan eminye ohialolo yamliake maash kasajin shikamo ete ehie mone. Ni ye manse sajamli mwe amane abo efele fan ake menfe ohai abo elaje fese ni nugbo wulukune ye Nepal ke Tibet border na.
Mimoni ye hye moya banyegbeno hwane na eji na ajamodo te kefi ofiche dromo oba akpe wo hwane ne kebiamli no nya wala don kebe ni nya yikekwewo.
MBN, the Gospel News and Entertainment.